Hello, and welcome to the Underground channel. I've been getting a lot of questions, and a few people's very interested in this tiny house that I'm building. It's actually a little bit oversized than the ones you would probably buy, like you see on the side of the road with these people, the dealers, that has a bunch of them out in the parking lot and stuff. And some of you have asked me questions, should you buy from them or find somebody like me to build them? And I'm starting up a new business because I don't like working for a factory, making minimum wage, making somebody else rich, building these things. So I'm going to do it on my own. And I have several reasons why. One is I want to get enough money to pay a debt that I owe to the government so I can get my visa. They won't let me have my visa until I pay that. So that's one of the reasons why I'm building these on my own and in my time, and not having to work fast on an hourly wage, where I'm lucky if I bring home $200 a week if I work for a factory. But doing it myself, I can generate enough income just selling these one at a time. I mean, I'm not going to get big. I'm going to just do one at a time. And I'm living in them at the same time I'm building them, so it's kind of convenient. And so I'm going to answer all your questions that I've been receiving. And one of the questions was, should you buy from a dealer on the side of the road, like you see all these sheds and buildings that they build at these factories, small factories they put up everywhere? And that's all depends on if you got the money to do it, and if you live nearby where the transportation of getting it to wherever your location is maybe included with your shed house or tiny home or man cave or she shed. I keep forgetting to mention she shed, so a lot of women are kind of mad at me. This can be a she shed too, or a she tiny home. And I'm actually building this into a tiny house. And this one's a little bit bigger than usual, that you would probably buy off from the, one of these dealers that are on the side of the road somewhere, and you're paying high top dollar. And so, Jack, I'm going to answer your question, and you got several, so I'm going to answer all of yours. One is, you said you held up from buying because you saw my video and you want to know what my take is on how to get you one like mine that I'm building, or mine, because you're interested in the price, which I put up on my third video, and it's down in descriptions, you can see it. And that is to the point that I have this tiny home now. So, and another thing is, you wanted a closer look after I put the third video up, everything that's included, because you're interested in it being your man cave, live-in, tiny home, she shed, or not she shed, but man cave. And I'm getting ready to show you, and I'm going to put it inside. But on the outside, you wanted to see a little bit detail and a better quality film, so I'm using my action cam, Walmart action cam. It's not a GoPro, so sorry about that. I just don't have the money for that kind of stuff right now. But as I said, I have several reasons why I'm just doing these one at a time. And this one here is basically I'm selling so I can send my family some money to the Philippines, plus pay a big chunk of my child support that I owe. My kids are in their 30s and they're still sucking me dry and for child support. But I also got a couple of other bills I got to catch up. Those are little bills. And once I get everything paid off, then I'm gonna move to the Philippines to help my family repair a house that's been damaged. Plus, we started a new tiny home build on the same property so that we could rent that out, and my family in the Philippines would have a little bit of income coming in for renting out another house. And we got all the walls up, we just don't have the cement floors done yet, or the roof, or the windows. But so saying that, if you're new to this channel and you're just now watching, please subscribe and please share this. YouTube's got me on an algorithm and I can't get past the tags, and the tags ain't working because the way YouTube has changed their system around. They only want people who's making money for YouTube on there, so they put up a new algorithm. So if you're not getting the views like you used to, or your tags ain't getting searched like they should, that's why, because of the new algorithm. The way to beat the algorithm is people like you and me, we stick together, we share each other's videos, and we subscribe to each other. That's the only way we can beat this algorithm. And without that, the rich keep on getting richer. But to show you more detail on the outside, I'm flipping the camera around. So this is what the end of it looks like. Now this was more of a repo that I took over and started, you know, fixing it up and turning it into a tiny home. And back here, if you watch my other videos, one lady, she's thinking about maybe buying it, but she would like to have double glass sliders there, double pane. And those are very expensive, but double pane, double glass sliders is a very good thing if you're wanting to get natural light in, plus makes it look more modern and nicer, and actually it will save you a lot of money in the long run on your heating and your air conditioning because of it being double pane. Now I'm going to show you the other side. I put a 6-foot double pane in already, and these double pane glass sliders are expensive. You're looking at $1,000 for a decent double pane, double glass slider doors, and they can go up to the better quality or whatever you want. And I got a vinyl frameless double glass slider in the back. I haven't got the trim around it yet because I'm going to repaint the building with a better seal coat paint that will last years over top of this paint. Basically it's going to be the same color, but instead of white, I'm probably going to go with a musky green to give it a good look to it. It looks too much like a barn right now. You have to excuse the traffic, but I'm trying to get away from it looking like a barn by taking all the trim off. I'm going to put different trim up and paint it green while it's on the ground, then put it up. And then I'll do the frame around the window. And this is a double pane 6-foot by 2 feet glass window, and you know how much these cost if you go Home Depot or Lowe's to buy them. So the porch, above the porch is a loft. I built another big loft in there. I'm getting ready to show you. And I was using the porch loft as a place to sleep, but for me it was just a little too tight, so it's going to end up being storage on this loft. And you can see I've already got my open house sign on it because I am trying to sell it. And the more that, oh, I pushed the wrong button, but there you go. I got my little lights out here for nighttime, my open sign, so when I do open house, it's ready to go. So I'll turn this back off again. And we're going to go inside. It's a little messy because I'm living in there, but it's a lot cooler in here with that air conditioner. I got a little bit of insulation in here up on the soffit, as you can see, inside soffit part. But there's going to be regular house 6-inch thick insulation on all the walls and everything. And I'm trying to buy a pallet. The pallet is like $700 for a bunch of rolls of insulation, and whatever I have left over will go on to the next tiny house build. So Jack, you wanted to know how I had 3 rooms in here? This room here, it's just framed in. I don't have the doors up or anything yet. It's just basically framed rooms. So, and to answer your other question, Jack, was this stuff coming with it? Yes, so that I can get a good value and maybe get a seller real quick. A couple of guys are interested in this as a man cave. There's about a 5-foot drill press, a pretty nice drill press, a brand new 60-gallon DeWalt, which is about 5.5 feet tall, and DeWalt tools to do anything you want in here. All the DeWalts are brand new. They're just a few months old. I've only just now, I had this in a shed in Ohio, and I took the DeWalt and brought it up here and hooked it up and made sure that it runs good. So I will turn it on so you can see it. I wired in 220. It should come right on. No, the air pressure's got to go below 100. I'll do that in the next video. Over here is going to be the bathroom. It'll hold a full-size shower, a sink, and a toilet, and a mirror on the side. And I'm thinking about going with stained glass doors for the bathroom. I'm not sure yet how I'm going to do that. I just got it framed in. And you was wanting to see how the big loft I framed in. I got an oversized mattress up there right now. So, but I sleep up there, and I got good headroom. Over here, it's still open because I'm going to build that into storage shelves with slider doors on both sides. So there'll be a lot of storage in here. Under the steps where the stairway's going, I've already got the base built, and there'll be steps going up to here and then steps going up to there to get up into your loft. Up there, I turned this into a storage loft to keep some of my chemicals and stuff. I paint cars and do body work on the side, so I got some of that stuff up there under that storage. And it's just laying up there because I haven't got it all finished, framed up over there. Right there's the 6-foot window that comes in here, so that goes with the building. I got a temporary shelf and some temporary stuff, and because I don't have screened in doors yet, I put a bug light in here so that when I go to sleep I turn that on for a couple of hours, and any bugs or mosquitoes that gets inside gets zapped. And I got a little mini fridge. And like I said, to the buyer, gets a new 50-inch screen TV already framed and mounted, and it works. And I don't have my remote down here, it's up in the wall. Next video I'll show you it's working, and it swivels any direction you want. It goes up and down, and it goes back to the wall when you're working in a kitchen. I'm going to put a full-size kitchen in here. right here below the window to about there will be the sink and counter spaces on both sides, and down here will be a stove and oven, and right here, depending on when I finish the kitchenette, and it's multi-task unit that you can use as a living room space, a dining room space to eat, and a workstation, which I'm using it now. And this table, it will fold down and it'll turn into a bed, just like in a camper. And I've already got the cushions. They fold out so they turn into a mattress when you want to turn this into an extra bed in case you have somebody that sleeps over or whatever. I also got a full size, my lazy boy comes with me, and it does not go with the building when I sell it. So when you buy the building, you get the DeWalt air compressor, around $800 to $850 plus tax. You're looking at it probably about a $900 air compressor right there. The drill press is used, but it works good. It's for like to go inside an industrial place, but I got it in here because I drill holes through metal and stuff. It's not attached. Sometimes I'll take it outside if I have bumpers or anything, and it's just in here to stay out of the rain and the elements. And the DeWalt tools, as you can see, they all go with it. There's a flashlight, DeWalt flashlight with that kit too. And the price that you're seeing on part 3, which I will link it up below, is there. So, another thing, Jack, you wanted to know if this was built with particle board. I'm going to show you right now. There is no particle board in here. It's real paneling, or not paneling, what do you call that? Plywood. Real plywood on the ceiling. Plus on the outside is a metal roof attached to that. Now when you go to these places, like you was telling me, Jack, theirs all built with particle wood. Well, if it's built with particle wood, you absolutely need a vapor barrier, paper on the outside to keep the moisture out, a vapor barrier. So you have to excuse me, I had a stroke and I can't talk right sometimes, so if I stutter, please forgive me. So actually this is 3 rooms, like I told you. On the bottom, a room up there which is called a loft, another little space. You can turn it back into a loft if you want, for like one of your, if you got a teenager or a kid, that's enough room for a teenager to have a little sleeping place. And this would be good on a lake or near a river or a vacation tiny home, and or a good house to live in if you're one of the people that are downsizing to not have a mortgage. That's a good thing about these things. Once you set them up, you don't have no mortgage. And a lot of people like that idea. I like it too, because this way it's bank free. I don't have to worry about, you know, losing it to a bank and or anything. And if you do go to a bank to get the money, you're only looking about probably $70 a month for this building if you finance it. But that's up to you. You only know how you're strapped. I'm gonna go back outside, and my dog right here, Little Ann, is wanting me to play fetch. And it's too humid out right now, So I'm going to flip the camera around. Hello. And this channel is a Trump supporter channel. So, another question you was wanting answered is, how much money can these cost? If you buy it, like off from a place that dealer has these all set up. Some of them, a lot of them ain't this big, but I wanted this size because it's good for 1 or 2 or 3 people. You could put 3 people and not have to be so crowded that you're bumping into each other. These smaller ones, like the one you showed me, it's a little bit crowded. And even with the small one, this is what you got to think about. Like you said, that one that you showed me is all particle board paneling. That's the cheapest route that you can go, but my suggestion is to get real treated plywood. Less problems down the road. Your tiny house will last for many years, where particle board, sooner or later, it's going to get moisture in it and it's going to swell up and start sponging out, and then you're going to have all kinds of problems. That's why I will never buy one or build one with glued particle board, and it's just too many problems. It's a cheap, quick fix, yes, but for a long-term situation, you want real plywood like this one. And this one's a little bit more expensive because it's not particle board, and I'm not telling you what to buy. I don't know how you're strapped or what you're trying to do to save money, to have more money to be more free. And another thing is where you're at. You need to go check in your town about the codes if you're allowed to have a tiny house in where you live. So what you really want to do is go find some cheap property where people don't want it or can't do nothing with it. Usually you can get an acre up to 3 acres for under $20,000 if you just search and look. And it depends on what state you really want to live in and get set up that way. Even I look for the worst land that is swampy kinda, or something that people ain't going to be able to turn into a cornfield because it takes too much dirt. They have to bring it in, fill it all in, so they don't bother with it. And sometimes they'll sell that part of the property at cheaper rates. And a lot of times you can say, hey, I can help you around the farm or around your woods or whatever, and get good with your seller, and make a little bit of money on the side working on the same land that you got from that person. So look for things like that. Another thing is, it's much better if you're out in the middle of nowhere. Trust me. If you want to go off grid, you can build these tiny houses like I may end up doing to this. I got plenty of sunlight in the afternoon that the sun sets right there. And then on my east side, the sun rises there, and it's about 2.5 hours of sun. The rest of the woods pretty much gives me the shade in the middle of the day. Sorry for flipping the camera, but I wanted to show you. So, the other person, I think his name was David, I'm not sure. It was either David or Jeff, or Jack. Oh no, Jack, I just answered your questions. So, I think it was David. You want yours to be totally off-grid, and you asked me, can I make this totally off-grid? Yes, I'm piped in to the owner's house temporarily, but I am going to go completely off the grid and got it all figured out. Now, if I don't sell this fast enough, or I'm living in it, say for another 6 months before I sell it, I have a generator that's also multi-different thing. I got a window on top of it, that's my shelf, and I got a Predator underneath it, so it will run everything in there except my air compressor. And I think it will, if I do a Y plug on 2 different circuits on the Predator, to turn it into 2 110 circuits for 240, and I could run the air compressor. I'm waiting to make one to see if that will work. So stay tuned, subscribe, and we'll see. But also, I'm going to build my battery bank big enough so that I can run 220, and it don't have to run continuous, just a couple of times to charge it up. Sorry about that, I was turning my camera around. This is a makeshift steel bed frame that I turned into a little porch and a deer stand, so I can watch all the deer, raccoons, coyotes, and foxes coming around out there. And I got my outdoor storage shed thing right there to keep some of my stuff in it. So, David, your other question was, let me see, hold on a minute. Can decks be yes, decks can be added. I added this temporarily. It's not connected to the building. It's just a temporary bed frame turned into a little deck, so I can sit there, listen to my radio, watch the wildlife and the woods and the storms that come up around. It won't be part of the shed if I sell it. You also asked what's the bottom dollar of the shed, house, man cave thing, whatever you want to call it. Right now, without everything that's in it, you're looking at about $7,800. But I've already built on the inside, and I've already put it on YouTube that the air compressor and everything that I said goes with it, plus the free 50-inch screen TV. I'm going to show you one more time. You can see I just bought this air compressor a few months ago and stored it in a shed, and I just hooked it up about 3 days ago, and it runs good. The drill press is used, but it works great. All those are brand new. They're about 4 months old, and I use those to do a lot of work on here. And the TV is about 9 months old. It's a 50-inch smart screen TV, so it goes with it. Amy, I just came in and saw your question. One question is, I will go live again pretty soon once I get everything set up. My electric is good. I done started wiring. Next thing is to put the receptacles and switches and stuff, and a few more LED lights in here. And but after I get that done, I'm going to put the insulation in. And then you said you'd like to see it if it was in white pine. I'm not 100% I'm going to do that, but I will maybe get a few white pine interlocking clapboards and just put them up to see what it looks like. I don't want to put the final thing on it until I decide if I want to go rustic cabin look like inside or modern, because it seems like more people want their houses more modern like a regular house, and more potential buyers. I need to sell this as fast as I can so I can pay, like I said, on my child support and get my visa so I can visit my family that lives in Gamaak, Philippines. That's where my family is, until I can get a visa. I can't go there yet. Plus, another reason is the Philippines has been hit pretty hard in the last couple of years with typhoon, hurricanes, earthquakes, and everything else. And our house is damaged to the point that it can't be repaired, but they're still living in it even though the rain comes inside the house, until we can get our new house that we started. We're just doing this on pennies as we can, and we just now got the walls and the rooms all cemented in. Our next step is the cement floor, and then the rafters and the roofing, and then the windows, and then they can move in if they want, or we'll rent it out to try to make a little extra money in the Philippines to actually make ends meet. It's a lot harder in the Philippines right now than it is in the United States. So that's why I'm going to sell this, plus get the materials to build another one and start it off and get it sold until I'm free and clear and can get home to my family. So, Amy, I hope that answered your question. Samuel. I'll just call you Sam. Now, you asked if I could re-change the framing inside to the way you wanted. Yes, I can, because I use T21 screws instead of nails. And the reason why I use that is because they're made out of brass and they'll last many, many years, your lifetime, before they would rust like nails do. And these factories and places that build these, they use nails and they come loose or they rot out and leave a hole in the wood, and then the wood starts flapping around after a couple of years. With T21s, it doesn't do that. It stays airtight, solid, and if you go to move this to a different location, you have a lot less problems of it coming loose anywhere and then having to, you know, go into maintenance and refixing it. So, and there's always something coming loose when it is transported, even if it's brand new, no matter how they haul it. But with T21s or T25s, they don't come apart. And if you're building one, it's a little bit more expensive, but a lot less headache if you just go buy a big container like this. If you can see it. But they're called T21s, T22s, up to T25s. So, Samuel, you wanted to know if this could be hauled from Indiana to Kentucky. Yes, it can. They do it all the time. And I would suggest, if you did buy this, and the price I quoted you is without all the free stuff or everything that goes with it, unless you want to pay the regular price. Right now, I'm selling it with this and this and this and the framing I've already done, so that's why the price came up. When I put the insulation in, I'm looking at about $800 for a skid of insulation, rolls of insulation, and I'm thinking I need about 2 skids really, and they're $800 each, but I will have some left over on the second skid to start the next project and not have to have that money up front because I have it left over, and that's why the price went up. I'm also using 600 volts wire, hard plastic coated, rubber coated, or whatever it is, wire, so a lot less chance of anything getting hot and catching this place on fire. I'm not putting in crap. If I put something in, it's going to be top grade, the best of everything, because it's always less problems down the road. Same way with the insulation. Samuel, you asked if it could be blown in insulation or if I could use styrofoam insulation. I could, but I won't, because if you do that and you live near a road and say a big truck goes by and hits his jake brakes, what happens with a styrofoam insulated wall? It vibrates your whole house. It will drive you nuts. Don't do it. With the regular house insulation being 6 inches thick, that's not only good insulation if you get the top grade, but it's also a good sound barrier that stops all that vibration, and 95% of the sound, you're not going to hear it. Trust me, I've been through it all. And I'm sticking with the 6-inch insulation because it's a lot better. In the long run, it saves you a lot of money in heating and air conditioning. Once I put that in here, I almost bet a pilot light from a propane stove, a wall-mounted propane stove would probably keep this place warm. And a split top air conditioner, which I'll eventually put in here, but the price will go up. Okay, Samuel. Oh, that is... Okay, Samuel. I answered your questions. Leave me a comment down below if you got any more. And like I said, it's best to find somebody local that can come up here and bring it to you if that's what you want, then to hire somebody here to take it to you and come back. So I'm going to do one more, and her name is Lisa. And I started to answer some of your questions, Lisa. I got sidetracked. Okay. Yes, I am going to go back on live and do the live homestead, or not homestead, off-grid living, and about the people that's living in tents and stuff. They're all wanting me to come back on. I'm going to turn that live channel back on. So, but I will send you an email when I do. I just got some things I got to get taken care of first, okay? And then, as you are living in a pop-up camper in a forest, I don't think they would let you put a shed like this, tiny home out in a national forest. But your second suggestion of the people that owns a farm and they got a big old hill, sort of almost a mole mountain that they're not doing nothing with, and you thought about digging a hole and putting that out, or putting one of these tiny houses kind of built into it and dig it out, that's a great idea. That's what I would do, is put one of these, dig my pull out, cement it all the way around, slide this in, and build, like you said, a rooftop garden on top. I've seen a couple of videos on YouTube where some women did that. That's a good idea. So I'll let you know when I do. And you wanted to know the price of this one and if it could take it to Michigan. It will do. Michigan's about an hour maybe away from me, hour and a half. So it's straight up the highway. So the cost of transporting wouldn't be that much compared to going to south of Kentucky or Tennessee or someplace like that. But I've also raised the price, so email me and we'll talk about that. So I hope I answered everybody's questions. I hope you all liked how I framed it so far. And if you got any more questions or you're new to the channel, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think of my build and how I've progressed, starting from scratch and got it to this part. And if you're interested in buying, we can dicker. We can do, maybe one guy wanted to do a partial trade, but I just wasn't interested in a motorcycle. I can't live on it, can't live in it. So, but it was a nice bike. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this, and you all have a nice day. And those of you who have subscribed that are already living in tiny houses, drop me a few videos and I'll post those too. And be sure to subscribe. That helps me out a lot. If you can't donate or don't have any money to donate to help me, that's okay. And if you do, on my main channel page, up on the picture that is above all our videos, there's a PayPal subscribe button. You can subscribe, and any help will help me and my family and get this moved on so I can really sell it. And the last reason why I wanted to move to the Philippines, my family ain't the only one that's been hit hard with the roof tore off with typhoons. We've had earthquakes, we've had volcanoes. Recently, y'all can watch it on YouTube. Thousands of people are homeless there. And if I get there, I can build these tiny homes for the fraction of the cost that they would have to pay for them on their peso system, where I could use American money and help a lot of people out. Their houses are destroyed. They're living in just makeshift, where they put tin on top just to get out of the rain, and living on dirt floors and stuff. And we could help them, people could help them by helping me get there. And I could hire a few people and teach them how to build these, and maybe give some of them some jobs, like some of my family needs some jobs, and jobs are hard to get in the Philippines, and go from there. So it's kind of like paying it forward. So, and if you can't do anything, there's one thing you can do. You can get on your hands and your knees and pray. God bless you, and good luck to you, and stay safe. Bye-bye.